As the years went by, Fluttershy and Discord noticed that their daughter possessed more talents than a chaos. Like her mother, she had the ability to communicate with animals and had a decent singing voice. They have discovered another gift of hers one evening. Mom? Dad? Yes, dear, Fluttershy replied. Where do babies come from? Her parents then just dropped their forks, and Discord nearly choked on his cotton candy. Why do you ask, dear? He stammered. Since Aunt Rarity had her baby, I want to know. The couple looked at each other nervously. Well, sweetie, Discord said, rubbing the back of his head, babies come from, the stork, Fluttershy intervened. Yeah, what? The stork leaves you on your doorstep. Yeah, the stork. Screwball then blinked at him. No, he didn't. Of course he did, Discord insisted. She narrowed her eyes. You're lying to me. No, I'm not. Stop it, Daddy. Hold on a sec, Fluttershy interrupted. How do you know when we're lying? She shrugged. I could just feel it. From then on, they knew not to lie in front of Screwball. Her question was not answered many years later. Gold Digger and his friend Silvertray continued to pick on her and Dinky, but she kept herself composed most of the time. A couple of the incidents involving wedges, she had gave them underpants first and whoopee cushions, and she has gone as so far as the piano accident in a while. The laugh was taken off of them for their first class to get a cutie mark at Ponyville Zappers and the Ball Time Orals while playing the Fun Park Runaway. Screwball begged her father to take her, and Fluttershy could not join because she was at the spa with her friends. Discord yawned during the first few innings, but they were then filled with walks and strikes and outs, and the ponies were even barely ran. Screwball, however, was excited for the entire spectamen to bounce on their seat, cheering and waving the foam finger. It got very boring by the sixth inning, and the ball had already been hit twice, and both pitchers equally did horrible. She glanced at her father, and was on the verge of falling asleep. Her mother was not there, as she knew she would get angry if she found out, but the game indeed needed more excitement. The Orioles are up to bat now. Their team was then leading 15-13. The pitcher was looking very tired and nervous. There's no harm on helping him a little. As soon as the ball left the pitcher's hoof, the audience gasped as they saw a corkscrew motion. When it hit the catcher's mitt, the umpire cried out, "Strike one!" "What?" the batter protested. "No fair! That was a foul!" It hit the mitt," the catcher argued. Discord woke up from his slumber. Attention finally caught. There was no way I could have hit on that. Shut up, Screwball thought. With that, the batter's mouth was then zipped closed, and Screwball gasped at her mistake and instantly made the zipper vanish. But her dad had almost had most of the ponies had already been seen in it. Discord just stared at his daughter in surprise. She slumped guiltily on her seat. Why, Screwball Fluttershy Draconequest, he exclaimed dramatically, putting his paw over her heart. I never thought my own daughter would stoop so slow as to cheat. I'm sorry, amateurs cheat, he whispered in her ear. Professional sabotage. She looked at her father in disbelief, seeing the mischievous grin on his face, and Screwball's lips curled into match his grin. As the pitcher wound up again, she put a silent curse on the ball before he could throw it. The ball leaped out of his hoof and circled in the air. What the heck? He cried out. See, the batter pointed out. We've got a remote control ball. Suddenly the ball rocked it towards him and knocked him out of the head, and then landed on the ground with a thud. Oh, Screwball cringed. He's fine, Discord said, waving it off as he ever heard towards the centerfield. That mare over there has done nothing but file her hoofs at the whole game. I say we bring her attention to the field. The filly nodded and picked up the ball with her magic, and then sent it towards the center fielder. Mittens, watch out! The mare looked up and squealed, and she stuck out her glove. But the ball was going at a fast and burnt the whole hole through the fingers. Some ponies gotta get that ball, the umpire commanded. The players then scrambled to the stubborn object as zigzagged across the field. Screwball and Discord had snickered in delight. How is this entertainment? The Draconequest applauded. Screwball then had another idea. The umpire then jumped out of the arms and the legs and then sprouted from the bat as it began to run the bases. Discord laughed hysterically. Genius, my dear, he shouted, giving her a high finger, waving her. Absolutely genius. The filly watched in amazement as the players scattered around the field, screaming for the bat to attack them, but she did not realize how much fun she had to mess with the ponies' minds. Deep down, she knew it was wrong, but she was enjoying every second of it. Well, what would you looking at? Her father mused. What? Screwball asked. He then pointed at the rear, and she glanced down at the picture with the screw-in baseball that had been appear on her flank. Discord squeezed a feeling delight. Well done, my dear. Daddy's so proud of you. Their excitement over their cutie mark died down the next morning when Fluttershy angrily showed up with the headlines in the newspaper. Fasco at Funaway Park? Care to explain this? She demanded, folding her hooves. Discord stammered. Did I mention Screwball got her cutie mark? At this moment when Screwball was 10 years old, most of her friends have received their cutie marks now, except for Apple Blossom. She was obsessed over it with her aunt Apple Bloom had been. Thunder had free storm clouds, while Lightning had owned a lightning bolt, and they had received them after busting down some nasty storm clouds that were difficult for the Pegasi to get rid of. Dinky had free muffins and a cinnamon stick on for a cinnamon stick, making their talents quite obvious. They were in the schoolyard making the teams for the basketball games. Unfortunately, Gold Digger and Silver Tray were the captains. Their cutie marks were free gold nuggets and a silver tray, respectively. The twins were picked first, since they were the best athletes, and when it came down to Apple Blossom, Screwball, and Dinky. Let me see, Silver Tray fought, rubbing his chin. I'll take blank flank. Apple Bloom groaned as he went to join the team. Alright, let's play, Gold Digger announced, bouncing the ball. Hey, Dinky cried. What about us? The Colt turned around to the remaining pair. Which one do you want, Silver Tray? Discord Jr. or Derpy Jr.? You kidding me? Silver Tray grunted. Derpy can't even keep an eye on the ball, and Discord Jr. keeps turning the ball into an orange. Screwball grated her teeth. My name is Screwball. Exactly the point, Gold Digger taunted. We're not letting you play a nuts with us. Hey, knock it off, guys, Lightning shouted. Yeah, you're not being fair, Thunder agreed. Why don't you just let them play? Cinnamon Stick demanded. Gold Digger tilted his head and headed towards Screwball. Why doesn't she go back to where she belongs, in the Council Gardens with her dad? Screwball had to bite in her cheek to hold back her anger, but Dinky pulled a hoof on her shoulder. It's okay, Screwy, she said. I didn't want to play basketball anyway. Hey, Derpy Jr., Gold Digger said. Catch! Dinky did not see the ball and had time to catch it. It hit her square in the forehead, causing her to fall backwards into a mud pile. Dinky! Screwball cried, kneeling down towards her. Gosh, sorry, Gold Digger said sarcastically. Hope that didn't cause any brain damage, if there wasn't even enough brain to damage. Screwball narrowed her eyes at the Colt, with fire blazing within them. You jerk! Dinky may be uncoordinated, but she's not stupid. Speaking of stupid, how come you always wear that stupid hat? You freaks deserve each other. A few of the other kids started laughing with him. Of course, Screwball looked down at her best friend covered in dirt, and tears came out of her disapproval eyes. That's it. She then stood with her hind legs and clapped her hooves together with a great boom, causing the ponies to fall silent, and then looked up in alarm. If you want to play basketball, fine. Let's play some basketball. Gold Digger then let out a shriek as the gold light enveloped around him, pressing him into a spear, and then the others backed away as she bounced him into the assault. Of course, Screwball, what are you doing? Wait, Cinnamon Stick exclaimed in horror. What does it look like I'm doing? Screwball replied, sounding like a mad mare. I'm scoring the points. The Colt screamed as he was thrown across the basketball court into the net. Then the insane filly stared at her eyes at Silver Tray. Before he had a chance to escape, he was then pressed into the ball and then tossed into the other basket. Woohoo! Screwball cried, throwing her hooves in the air. That's 6 points for me, zip for you. The scoreboard appeared and then matching, and they just had an announcement. Apple Blossom then raced towards inside the schoolhouse. Screwball, are you nuts? Dinky cried out. Nuts? The crazy look then on the mare that made the unicorn jump back. I'm not nuts. I'm Screwy, 'cause I'm Screwball, the princess of chaos, and you all made fun of my friends, and I shall have my revenge! Revenge! As she let out a frightening laugh, the sky turned red and a bolt of lightning struck. Screwball paused as she felt a hoof on her shoulder. She turned to see Miss Cheerley's furious face, staring back at her. Screwball then sat hunched on the school steps. Even though the door was closed, she could hear the conversation as clear as day. That half-pony nearly killed my boy, Filthy Rich bellowed. She didn't mean to harm any pony, Fluttershy insisted. She's a menace. You should expel her at once. No, Silver Tray's mother screeched. That child should be in an asylum. Well, what else could you do with that devil's child? Fluttershy gasped and Screwball heard a slap. How dare you insult my husband and child? Every pony calm down, cheerily shouted. Calm down, Silvertrae's mother shrieked. Look at my son. Look at his son. That half thing must be punished. And what about your kids? Derpy demanded. They hurt my Dinky. Screwball was only defending her. Screwball winced as she tried to block the words out. Freak, devil child, mad pony, halfling, monster. She doesn't belong. A tear fell down her cheek. The sound of the door slamming broke out of her trance. She looked up to see Gold Digger and Silvertrae with their parents, sending her death glares as they passed by. The boys held ice packs on their heads. Then Derpy and Dinky came, but they were silent, and then her mother appeared, and she was not happy. You're lucky she didn't expel you, she said calmly. Screwball hung her head. Honey, this is the first complaint I've received this month. I've let the other mishaps aside, but this is even worse than the piano incident. I'm sorry, the filly sobbed. I don't know what came over me. I didn't mean to. Fluttershy sighed and sat beside her daughter. Look, it's noble that you were standing up to your friends, but you just hurt those ponies just as they hurt you and Dinky. I wish I would have done worse. Screwball, at least it would have all stopped. She sniffled. You're right, Mommy. Maybe I am evil, like they say. I don't want to be evil. She cried in her mother's chest. Fluttershy then stroked her mane tenderly. You're not evil, sweetie. You just made a bad decision. And what if I can't control myself next time? What if You'll learn, honey. Maybe you shouldn't use your powers anymore. At least not in school, okay? Her daughter glanced up and nodded. Dinky then slowly approached him. Hey, I still think it was pretty crazy back there, but thanks for sticking up for me. Screwball looked up at her friend, and then she stood in him to embrace her. I have an idea, Derpy exclaimed. Why don't we all forget this mess and go down to Sugar Cube Corner? A good muffin always makes me feel better. Yay, Dinky cheered in agreement. Can we, Mom? Screwball begged. I'll clean the bathroom tonight. Fluttershy then rolled her eyes, knowing that the chore would only take a few seconds. All right. The four were then greeted by the espresso Pinkie Pie. Hello, she wheezed. Derpy, Flutter, Screwy, Dinky, table for four? Sure, Fluttershy uttered. You alright, Pinkie? Fine, she gasped. Running sore myself, triplets, busy. A few years ago, Pinkie had met a clown who only measured up to be a few levels of her silliness, but could do magic tricks as well. And they were married and recently blessed with 3 female triplets, Blueberry Pie, Raspberry Pie, and Cherry Pie. Unfortunately, her husband was on a tour with the circus right now. Pinkie groaned as a chorus of babies were crying. Seat yourselves. I'll be right with you. She bolted upwards towards her children as they entered the shop. Screwball gasped to see the children, and seeing the twins, Cinnamon Stick and Apple Blossom, occupying the table. On second thought, she then whispered to her mother, Let's go. Fluttershy stopped her daughter and pushed in her direction. You can't avoid your friends forever. They'll think I'm a freak. They don't know that, and if they do, I suggest you prove them wrong. Screwball then turned into the direction of the 2 colts and the 2 fillies, and they were looking at her now. And she took a deep breath and approached them. Hey, she uttered. I know you probably wouldn't want to speak to me again after what I did. You kidding? Lightning exclaimed. That was awesome, Thunder declared, giving his sister a oof bump. Screwball's eyes perked up. You mean you're not mad? Mad? Apple Blossom repeated. Sure, we were a bit freaked, but by the time that some pony taught those bullies a lesson, just don't go loony on us again, okay? Cinnamons asked with a shiver. That scared the hay out of me. What are you standing down here for? Thunder inquired. We're friends, aren't we? Lightning questioned. Pull up a seat. Screwball smiled as she and Dinky joined their friends. No matter what happened, she would always know that she could count on them. Nobody had said anything at the dinner table for the first 15 minutes, and the only sound was Discord's crunching on rocks. Fluttershy kept glancing at Screwball and tilting her head towards Discord. The filly shook her head in response. Finally, the Draconiquest slammed his fork. Okay, what's with the awkward silence? Screwball, Fluttershy said slowly, is there something you want to tell Daddy? About what? Screwball asked innocently. About what happened at school today? Alright, story time. Discord grinned and leaned back on his chair. What do you have this time? Screwball stammered. I played basketball with Gold Digger and Silvertrae. He raised his eyebrows. That's nice. She took a deep breath. They were the basketballs. Discord stifled a laugh, but could not contain it. He pounded his fist on the table and clutched his stomach with his claw. You played basketball and they were the basketballs? Oh, if I haven't been there to say that. Wait, I can. He vanished and then reappeared a few seconds later, rolling on the floor with laughter. Oh, that was priceless. You do have your mother's evil laugh. Pure genius. She then wiped the He wiped a tear away and spun his arm around. Brilliant, my dear. You've made your father proud. Screwball could not help but smile a bit. Discord, this is serious, Fluttershy shouted. Don't you see what's happening to her there? That's my girl. Finally taught those brats a lesson not to mess with the House of Discord. She then glared at him. May I speak to you alone? Discord misheard the question and set the filly down. But of course, my dear. He then followed his wife to the bedroom. Once he shut the door, he twirled it around them. Usually we wait until after dinner, but now is good. She then put a hoof on his puckered lips. We need to talk about our daughter. Oh, come on, she won't catch us. He leaned down on forward again and harshly pushed away. No, I mean what happened today, he groaned. So she got a little carried away. Big deal. It is a big deal. Doesn't it not concern you how much you are alike? Why should it? She is my daughter. That's exactly why we should be worried. He crossed his arms. Are you saying you regret having my child? No, I love her just as much as you do, but her powers, they're getting out of hand. She's young. Let her have her own fun. Discord, things they call her today, names are nothing. They called her a monster. That caught his attention. What? Also freak, devil child, halfling. Okay, I got the picture. You see, she might end up wanting to be an outcast, like you were. What if something happens to her, make her lose control? What if we have to turn into... He held up his claw. Don't say it, Stone. He covered his mouth. Now, let's not exaggerate. She then sighed and slowly removed his paw. I know it's a horrible thing to suggest, but it could happen. No, it won't. How could you be so sure? Because she's your daughter as well. He gently lifted up his chin. She may have my demented mind, but she also has your good heart. And how no matter how many times she loses control, she will not go down the path I left long ago. He chuckled. Besides, you have gone insane a couple times yourself. She then gasped and slapped his paw away. What? He shrugged. I just love it when you go nuts. It's so attractive. He put his hooves on her hips. That's it. You're sleeping on the couch tonight. Of course, Discord then paused and exited the room. What? He pursued her. You can't just kick me out of bed. I'm the master of this house. I'm the one with magical powers. Fluttershy flew down to her daughter. Screwy, honey, your daddy needs a bit of a timeout tonight. Okay, mommy. Screwball snickered. Huh? Discord uttered. What do you mean timeout? Fluttershy! The Pegasus slammed her bedroom door right behind her. Discord tried the knob, but it was locked. Then he tried teleporting inside, only to realize that there was a magical barrier had been put up. He pointed accusingly at his daughter. She put you up to this, didn't she? Instead of getting an answer, a pillow and blanket appeared on his head, and she laughed nervously. Screwy, he purred. Sweetheart, do you know that baseball bat you've always wanted? A metal bat appeared in his hooves. Well, I already got it. Whatever it is she's paying you, I'll pay you more. She pretended to think about it. No, I'm just gonna go to bed early. He gawed as she headed to her room. Don't you walk away from me, young lady. I'm not finished with you. I make the rules around here. He stopped as she shut the door in his face. He groaned and pulled at his hair. I've been outsmarted by a 10-year-old. No, not a 10-year-old. And her mother. Her bossy, annoying, devilish, irresponsible mother. He gazed at the gold band on his finger. Oh, Discord, what have you gotten yourself into?